Kyren, it's just not happened for you today out there. You were 2-0 up, you missed a blue with the rest, and after that the game just turned on its head.
Yeah, it's not often I would say it, but I think the rest really let me down today, actually. I missed a yellow as well in frame 4 when I'd got the sort of opportunity there. So, yeah, missed a trick, really. I should have ended up sort of 3-1 at the interval, and Judd being the great champion that he is, he really kicked on.
Yeah, and just after that, I mean, you were struggling, and it's very difficult, isn't it, just to continue with this fine form that you've had?
Yeah, obviously, you know, maybe a little bit of fatigue kicked in, but yeah, that's just an excuse, really. Just disappointed with how the tables have played all week. They've been really, really challenging. I felt everything is just turning to the right. So when you lose faith in playing slow shots or sort of slow, thin safety shots, you end up second-guessing yourself and you try and flick balls with side and it can all just go totally wrong. So, yeah, maybe that needs looking at, but yeah, taking nothing away from Judd, he really finished strongly.
Yes, and in terms of the rivalry, I mean, you've beat him in 2 finals already this season, and I know he'll be very satisfied with getting the better of you today. But he is very tough to beat when he's on it, isn't he?
Absolutely, you've got to take your hat off. You know, a lot of people would have probably gone into their shell after losing 2 big finals like that, but obviously Judd's cut from a different cloth. He's gone away and worked hard and been more determined to obviously turn me over, and yeah, he's obviously managed to do that today, but yeah, I'm sure we'll have many more and I can try and get my own back.
We'll have so many more. Great sport all week, and thanks again for your time.
Thanks very much, guys. Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers,
thanks
guys. So much.
Well, commiserations to Kyren Wilson and congratulations to Judd Trump. And before I ask you about your match, Kyren Wilson spoke very generously about you. You're obviously great rivals on the table, but off the table, there's nothing but respect.
Yeah, I think there was a big piece made maybe 5 or 6 years ago, but it's gone out the window. I think, yeah, we both got a lot of respect for each other. I think he's out there trying his best, the same as me, and I think it's just fine lines, I think, with us at the moment. I think, obviously, in the final we played, the first final was very close, odd shot here and there. The second final he played well, put me under pressure, and I couldn't really do anything. And today it was just the odd shot here and there, it turns the game. So I think, yeah, there's not much in it. I think there's over the next few years, I think there's going to be a lot more games between us.
Yeah, absolutely, and very tough matches to predict. You go 2 frames down, where's your head at? Because I wouldn't say it was all of a sudden a totally different Judd Trump, but something changed.
I just tried to dig in. I just tried to do what I did in the first couple of games because I was struggling to adapt to the table, to the new cloth and everything like that. And the difference against Ander was I was able to get in straight away and get a feel for the table. So I think when you're playing someone as good as that, the world champion, whoever, full of confidence, and you go 2 frames behind, you've got to do whatever you can to get on the table and make it as difficult as possible. So I think I missed a few. I dragged them down a little bit, but I was able to kind of get out the other side, and after the interval I played a little bit better. I think my long potting was probably the difference towards the end, able to get in every single time first.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was going to be hard for you to repeat how you played yesterday. It's hard. You played so well yesterday, 527 points unanswered. You know that you're probably not going to play like that today. You just can't do it. So you've got to accept maybe something below that is likely to happen, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, you'll get maybe 4 or 5 of them in your life. And I think the World Championship 5 years ago, I had it. Same again in that game. It's pretty much impossible to replicate playing like that 2 days in a row. Otherwise, I wouldn't lose a tournament. But I think it was tricky the first frame. I feel like the balls went a little bit awkward. I managed to get a lead from nowhere, really. And then my safety, I just wasn't getting the side spin right on the new cloth at the start. I was hitting everything thick. And his safety was much better than mine. And that was the difference in the first couple of frames. And after that, maybe it just turned a little bit. He missed a couple of shots with the rest, I think, in consecutive frames. And I think after that, it kind of halted his momentum a little bit. I think he looked a little bit shocked because he doesn't normally miss with the rest. And I think after that, the balls kind of changed a little bit. You mentioned the cloth. What were the conditions like out there? Kyren spoke, actually. He didn't think they were fantastic, and that's sort of been a bit of a theme for a number of players all week. I think because the humidity was up a little bit today in there, I think it was a little bit... Some shots were heavy, some shots were spinning back. It was hard to kind of predict, but I think it was better than from the start of the week. I think the pockets are still playing slightly nippy, which is good for the tournament because you don't want to kind of resign yourself in the chair every time you let your opponent in. So it's still a test. I think in tournaments like this, every day is so different with the table. Obviously, I found the table perfect yesterday. I think when you get in the first round, you make a century, the table's unbelievable. If you don't do that, it gets quite hard. So it's difficult.
I think because you're a confident player, you know, the way you finished off with Higgins with that century, you know, with that close game 5-8, the way you beat Neil Robertson, then you played that fantastic, unbelievable snooker yesterday, and then today he's finished off with a century when the conditions weren't great and there was quite a few balls. So it's nice to know it's in the locker going into the final, you know, of this tournament tomorrow. You must be, like, really high on confidence.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't feel like I did that much wrong. I think there's a few easy balls that everyone misses. I think there's obviously a lot of pressure out there playing Kyren. There's a lot of build-up. I think I don't want to lose for a third time in a row as well. And, yeah, maybe just trying a little bit too much at the start. You obviously got off to a great lead as well, but I think I can't be too hard on myself after the interval. I was potting long balls off his break-off every time, potted another long red, got in amongst the balls and froze him out, really. He didn't have the last probably 3 frames. He didn't really have any opportunities.
No. Your conversion, by the way, is so impressive. 5 UK semi-finals. You've converted 4 of them. When it comes to this stage in the tournament, it's like you just enter a different zone.
I know how important it is. It's such a waste if you win your first 2-3 games, then you lose in the semi-final, you get forgotten about. So at that moment is when you need to step up and put absolutely everything into it. Sometimes it doesn't happen. I think as long as you make your opponent play unbelievable, I think it was in the semi in China, Si Jiaowei played absolutely incredible.
I remember that match.
If you can get your opponent to play like that, then you just step back and say, well done. So I feel like a lot of the games this season, I've barely done anything wrong. And I've lost, and I just think the standard is so high, you just have to wait your turn.
How important is it for you to be in that final? On a human level, what does it mean to be there?
I think this tournament just has a different feel about it than... I mean, all tournaments are big nowadays, but I think everyone that comes here and social media and everything, the presentation on all the channels, I think everyone knows it is kind of a step up, don't they? I think
historic event as well, isn't it? It's got a lot of history. You know, we had an interview with Patsy Fagan, who won the first ever UK Championship. You know, it's been going so long, and it means a lot in the game, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think when you walk backstage and you see at a tournament all the greats, I think commentating in the studios, I think that's when you know is a little bit on the line. You know it's going to be special. So, not taken away from any tournaments in China and that, but there's something about when you walk in at this event, the Masters, the World Championship, when you see the greats around the practice room in here, I think you know it's time to step up.